Quality Assurance Manager with Aging and Disability Services. I oversee all quality assurance activities throughout the division. So I have been designated the point person within the division, and I really kind of oversee all of the activities to make sure that our website is in compliance. So I am spearheading all of our activities, coordinating with the other divisions at the department level, working with our IT department and our developers to make sure that we continually, if we're putting something up on our website, is it compliant? Checking the documents that we already have on our website, coordinating with the other agencies so that we have uniformity across our department. That's kind of my role.
Today I am the website content administrator, so keep our website up to date, along with being the gatekeeper for everything that needs to be ADA compliant, which is accessible. I've trained my my staff to create accessible documents, and I manage all those documents before they go onto the website to make sure that they are compliant.
I think the first step is getting the word out there. Having all of the department heads, all of the directors from different agencies maybe get together and talk about an education plan, reaching out to the Governor's Council on Developmental Disabilities because they are a wealth of information and resources, reaching out to Aging and Disabilities Services, myself in particular. I'm more than happy to do trainings on what universal design is, what the website design is, and just really educating folks, getting the word out there, because I don't think it's for a lack of not wanting to get on the bandwagon. I think it's simply a lack of understanding and knowledge of the subject. And unless it directly impacts you, you don't really understand all that it could be.
We got a complaint from the Office of Civil Rights that our site was not ADA compliant. Each pointed me in the right direction. They had some training on how to make things accessible because they were starting to look into it because they felt that it was coming down the line from the feds. I wouldn't have known where to start if it wasn't for their group just at least pointing me in the direction of where to get information. Lynda.com, you can Google it, the WCAG. There's so much information out there, but if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have known where to even start. Because it's a pretty, it's just huge, it's gray. You don't know where to even start. I was very stressed out because there's no black and white. It's a gray area. They give you best practices. They just don't tell you do this, do this, do this, and that will make it compliant. It's pretty much based on everyone's own discretion. It's almost like an interpretation. So 2016, about this time, I just went out, and EATS State Web helped give me the information that I needed to at least go out and learn enough to train some of my staff so we can take baby steps, because I can't do this by myself. I felt it was better to have more people understand how to do it than to have one person doing it all. And we just started training the staff on how to create at least accessible documents. In the meantime, State Web was working on the back end of our website, trying to get it at least that part compliant. And they do have one of my sites, the Bully Free Zone, compliant 100%. We're still working on the NDE official website. But training the staff to understand and learn how important it is, it was a scary, I didn't know what I was doing. I was basically teaching myself how to do it, but over the last couple of years, I've learned a lot more. It's getting easier, and it's not as scary as it was in the beginning. But it was a heavy lift, just to kind of understand why. Since we started in 2016, I had over 5,000 non-compliant PDFs. We're down to under 200 as of now. So my goal is by the end of the year to have no out-of-compliant PDFs, and then our website should be compliant by 2019. State Web has been awesome in helping, just kind of guiding the way together, so I'm not completely by myself. And as I go, I'm learning more people, like with the the public information officers with different agencies, they're understanding, they're learning, and so I've been attending some of the meetings and learning some things from them as well.
I don't really think it takes a whole lot of your time. It's something to be mindful of and thoughtful of, even when you're designing a meeting or you're designing some sort of public event. Keep it in mind. It really doesn't take any longer than setting up a regular meeting. You know, the design of the room. How are you going to have your room set up? If you have folks come in wheelchairs, are they going to be able to maneuver? Are they going to be stuck on the outskirts of the meeting? I don't really think that things like that take too much more time. We've got all this new technology. You look at our computers right now, if you've got Word, you've got an accessibility checker. So when you're publishing a document and you're typing it up, all you have to do is hit review and check accessibility. I think it takes about 20 seconds. One of the things that I've done too is I do my accessibility checker, and then you can also have the feature to read back aloud. So if somebody is using a screen reader to read that document, you will hear exactly what that screen reader is going to read.
If we have important information that all people need to see, we need to make it usable for all, whatever it takes. It may take a little bit of money, it may take some time, it may take some training. But if we aren't, we're being discriminatory, and that's not where we are at today. We want everybody to have some kind of equality. If you learn the basics of building a document and you teach that to your staff, you can create ADA accessible documents as you go, and it's not as scary as you think it would, and it's beneficial. If you think about it, aren't we being discriminatory if a person with disabilities can't see the same thing that the people without disabilities can? And it took me, I knew it going in how important it was, and I had some pushback, and some people just didn't get it. They felt that it was too much of their time and on their workload. But we're the Department of Education. Aren't we here for people? Aren't we here for kids? Aren't we here to give everybody the same equal opportunity? And we're in the digital world. This is where we live, and it's not going away. And for us to say it's too hard to not do it is really not acceptable. And that's been my thing this whole time. I don't care if it's too hard on you. We have to do it, not only because we are legally bound to do it and we're going to be in trouble if we don't. It's the right thing to do.
I think we have the best platform. You know, it's in our name, Aging and Disability Services. You know, I mean, if we're not at the forefront, then there's something wrong.
Student here at Team CC studying English. I'm also the Assistant Accessibility Specialist at the Disability Resource Center here at Turkey Middle. It's about everyone. It's making society itself, it's entertainment, it's facilities, it's everything needs to be accommodating to every person as an individual, so that as citizens, as members of society, we can all access the same material, the same education, the same facilities, the same events, anything, all equally, and we can all live without having any disadvantages. When I had to go to the national convention for the National Federation of the Blind, the seminars there, whether they were by-sighted people or not, really were accommodating to me personally, the blind, because whether it was accommodations of the room itself or the way I could access the material, it was electronic, you know, I had proper tagging, you know, the way I could assess the material was more accommodating than, let's just say, going to many restaurants or even a seminar here in the city where it's not thought of to be accommodating to the blind at all, but really just for the sighted. I don't label, for example, like my clothes or wear certain objects are in my house or anything like that. Since I can see color, I guess I should mention this, is we have different colored cups. This is actually for me specifically, so I knew the different measurements, because again, just when it comes to labeling, I don't like I don't like using labels of any kind, really. It's just, I don't know, I just don't really like that. So I try and find alternatives that work for me. I mean, for me, I just put things in a certain place, so I know where they are. But when it comes to technology, I do have to have enough to be able to access everything, you know, that my brother, you know, who I live with, you know, so I can access the same things that he can. So, you know, with my phone, of course, I can access the internet, I can call, I can text. You know, I have an iPad, you know, it's just for other projects that I work on, you know, it's bigger, you know, bigger screen, kind of easier to work with. As well as, you know, my computer being accessible so that I can not only complete schoolwork, but also my own personal writing. I have my TV through Spectrum, and I do have their accessibility features on, so I can, you know, view the guide accessibly, you know, since I can't read it. Because I like actually when I talk with people and they go, you know, I wonder what that little bump's always for. Like, why is it always on a 5? Why is it on this? Like, for blind people. This is for someone to find it.
So it's really important to me that things are accessible so that I can live my life as normally as anyone else, so that I can have equal access to information and necessities as anyone else. So now I am mostly impaired to where I see shapes, shadows, and light. Currently I am a student at TMCC seeking a degree in web development with a specialty in accessibility. Accessibility and universal design are important to maintain equality on all playing fields, no matter what your lifestyle or situation is. Having equal access means that you can live a normal life and you can have dignity and respect in that life instead of being treated as if you're invalid. My phone is my life. It tells me everything. I can scan my mail, read my mail with my phone, so I don't have to have someone else read it for me. Pretty much anything. I have GPS, wayfinding apps, so I can get around and go anywhere that I want without the need of a guide. There's a program that I participated in called Nevada Partners in Leadership and Policy Making. That was a really great experience. It was right from the beginning, wanting to make things accessible and offering that accessibility instead of me having to go to her and say, could you please make this accessible for me? When you walk into an office and you're asking for help and you're explaining that you're visually impaired and that their material is not accessible, that you need someone to help you fill it out, the last thing you want is to sit down at the desk and have the lady look, or gentleman, whomever, you know, look over the desk at you and go, don't you have somebody at home that can fill this paperwork out for you? Because my first response was, don't you have somebody at home that can come and do a better job than you? We shouldn't even have to do that. That's why accessibility is important. It's not private. Your privacy is compromised. Everyone around you can hear everything you say. You know, no matter how private it is, it's no longer private. It's everyone else behind you's business who could use it in any manner of ways. You know, we have enough identity theft out there. Why make the most vulnerable part of your community that much more vulnerable? It costs them a lot less in the long run to make things accessible for their department than it would to have litigation from it. And that people deserve accessibility. It's not a privilege, it's a right.